All right, my loves, here's a witchy tip for candle magic. I'm sitting here getting ready to prep a working for a client, and so many of you have reached out to me over the course of time asking about this. And then today, a friend I did a working for was actually panicking over this specific topic, and I had to give her a little of my knowledge on this. So today we're talking candle magic and signs your working is hitting or having some resistance. Or let's say, what are bad signs to look out for when doing candle magic? So again, this is something I get asked all the time in spell work. Signs your candle magic might be hitting resistance or things aren't flowing smoothly. Now, before I get into that, I want you to remember that candles and spell work also react to a few things. Or let's say can react to a few things. They can react to energy, yours, in the atmosphere, intention, and the situation surrounding the working. So if you pay attention, sometimes the flame will tell you a story so that you can do what you need to do to fix it or take note for next time. So as a practitioner that does a lot of candle magic in her practice, for myself, for clients, and I've been doing it for a very long time, this is what we practitioners tend to look out for. Number one, first, a candle going out. So if you light it and you have to relight it or keep relighting it, like it extinguishes itself, that can sometimes mean there is strong resistance around the situation or that the energy isn't fully aligned with the working. The next thing I would tell you to look out for is heavy black smoke coming from the flame. Now, a little smoke can happen, especially when you're using herbs and oils to dress your candles. But if you see thick, dark, or heavy smoke, that is traditionally interpreted as the candle having to deal with some heavy negative energy, blockages, or maybe some outside interference. Another sign we practitioners look out for is what the flame is doing. If it's like dancing a little too much or sputtering, flickering crazily, like, not just a little wiggle, but like doing the most. Or if the flame is extremely erratic or very, very small. It can indicate conflicting energy around the intention that was set. Then there's wax trying to drown the wick or smothering the flame. When the wax overwhelms the wick, some practitioners will read this as emotional overwhelm, or let's say obstacles that are interfering with the manifestation that you set. Now this next one, I mostly look out for when I'm doing a love working, when I have two candles burning simultaneously side by side, and this is uneven burning. Like when you have two candles representing two people. Like if one candle burns down much faster than the other one, or completely overtakes it, that can suggest that the energy between those two people isn't balanced and aligned. So maybe that person, the target that you're doing the working on, doesn't really align with the intention you're setting for the working that you're trying to perform. And this last one, I don't worry about too much, but it's when there's a lot of messy residue or crazy heavy wax patterns. There are some practitioners that solely will read and interpret the way the wax melts. But this can sometimes show that the working encountered some resistance or that more cleansing and preparation was needed for this specific working. So if you go to perform it again, you might have to just double check the steps you do before you start the working. But here's the most important part. Not every unusual candle burn means something bad is happening or that your working didn't stick. Sometimes it's mundane shit like just the candle or the way the wick is or even the airflow in the room. Maybe you have a air purifier, the fan going too fast, or a window open. The thing to note is when you consistently see these patterns when performing workings, many practitioners will then interpret that as energy needing to be cleared, or perhaps that situation that you're doing the working for needs a different approach. For instance, if you're trying to do a love working on somebody that is avoidant, I go over this a lot and I get asked this a lot, might not be the best way to attack that situation. I will suggest doing softer spells and in layers. I'm actually getting ready to perform an emotional barrier breaker for an avoidant. That's what prompted me to make this video. All in all, the biggest rule in candle magic is this: your intention and state of mind matter more than the flame itself. So I tell people this all the time. If the energy feels chaotic, or if you are doing a working out of emotional desperation, it's often best to pause, think about it, cleanse, reset, and maybe come back to that working when you are more grounded and the emotions aren't so heavy. So, as always, use your discernment, pay attention, take notice. Things can always be reset or redone, but I hope this helped for anyone out there who has questions about candle magic and the flame. Blessed be.